All right, everybody. Thanks for joining once again for part two of You Asked, We Answered. Really great first session a couple weeks ago. Kudos to Manon and Kurt who tackled all the questions and answers. They did an amazing job. For those who were on the call, I'm sure you would agree. For those who don't know me, my name is Rob Wilson. I'm the current president of Calgary Chinook, but also the chair of learning and development for the district. I have to apologize to those who were on the call last time. Right at the end of the session, we were just winding down, and technology is always great until it isn't. I had an unstable connection, and Zoom just kicked me out. So I know Mano is also co-host, so she was able to carry on the meeting. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But you never know when those pop up. So I apologize for those for that when that happens. We have a great session again today. We have tons of questions, polls, so it's going to be interactive for sure. If you need to mute your video, no problem to save bandwidth when you're not talking. Please do participate in the polls because obviously it's great interaction. It is being recorded. It will be posted on the district YouTube page. For those who don't know, the district does have a YouTube page. Just go into YouTube, type in District 5360. The last session will be there if you missed it. You can tell your club members. And this one will be posted as well too. So, and also as always, please mind your mute buttons. We are on Zoom. I know we're not zooming as much, but please try to stay on mute for your audio. And I'll be watching too, just to make sure there's no background noise. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Manon. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Rob, and thanks for doing all the work in the background to make all the polls happen and all of that stuff. Greatly appreciate it. Before I kick in, those of you who have just joined us, if you could please put the name of your club beside your name, that'd be great. And then we'll see where you are, because there's a bunch of people on the call that I actually have not had the pleasure to meet yet. And be nice to know where you are. So when I do go and visit your club next year, or who knows, maybe even this year, I'll be able to say, hey, there you are, and see you in person. Okay, here we go. So my name is Manon Mitchell, and I'm your district governor-elect. So I'll be starting my term as district governor starting July 1st, right after the convention. And last April, I participated in the district-wide president's and secretary-elect training with Rob, speaking about learning and development. And I asked the question to the president-elects, what is a burning question you have in your mind that keeps you awake at night? We collected all of those questions. There are about 45 of them, divided them into categories. And tonight we are going to deal with all the questions around club health, club engagement, that kind of topic. So I had the pleasure of working with a really great bunch of Rotarians to present this to you this evening. So I would like you to welcome Sue Carpenter Parnell from the Rotary Club of Cochrane, Gary Williamson from the Rotary Club of Calgary Centennial, Craig Henderson from the Rotary Club of Calgary Downtown, and Darcy McEtitian, our newly nominated district governor nominee from the Rotary Club of Red Deer East. So between all of us, we're going to all pitch in and answer the questions. So before we start, though, I like to have engagement with the people on the call. So you're not allowed to just kick back, drink a glass of wine, and fall asleep. You can drink your wine, but we would love for you to participate. Here's your first opportunity to participate. How many years have you been in Oh, do you have a, no, the question should read, how many
Oh,
years have you been in Rotary? So that's my bad to use the
oh,
expression. I didn't change that for some, I thought I did. Okay, how many years have
okay.
you been in Rotary? Are
Okay,
we
hold
good?
on. So, yeah. So the question is how many years have you been in Rotary? Not do you have a My Rotary
Yeah.
account? Okay.
Sometimes you think you have all the I's dotted and T's crossed and whoops. So we're at 90%,
Leave it open for 5 more seconds here.
91%. We just need two more people.
It's okay.
Not happening.
Oh,
Okay, just close the poll. This is good so that
close
everybody can
enough.
see the results. So look at that. We've got like 5 people who have over 21 years of Rotary experience. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. And 6 between 11 and 15. There was a solitary person between 16 and 20. But we have is that two under 5 years. So there's a lot of experience in Rotary on this call tonight. And I encourage you, if you do have something to add, please put it in the chat. Rob will be looking at the chat, and if it's something that's really important that we'd like you to talk about, we'll call on you. But we do have 20 questions to deal with. So it's going to be a little bit of rapid fire, and I'm going to jump in to the first one. The first question that was asked was, do we have to meet 4 times a month? So Rob, we can get rid of the poll.
Did you want the second poll, Manon?
Was there a second one?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Uh,
Maybe
Nope.
not.
Nope.
My apologies.
So number 2 is coming a little later.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. My apologies. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so do you have to meet 4 times a month? No, you don't. You do not. That's the quick answer. And the footnote to that is Rotary suggests that you meet twice a month. So twice a month is the minimum. Now, our club has recently gone to 2 times a month. You know what? Our meetings are so jam-packed. We are now putting a proposal together to do club assemblies in between the meetings with the speakers, because we find for our club that it's just too much to put into one club meeting twice a month. So the answer is figure out what's going to work for your club. Do you have a lot of stuff to talk about? Do you want to do some learning when you have your club meetings? Maybe you have a speaker once a month, and then you do a service project once a month, and then you do a club business meeting once a month. So between that, that's already 3 meetings. And you've only had to secure 1 speaker. So be creative, speak to your members.
Want to fill those
Ask
seats in?
them.
No, I need to sit there.
Whoop. Okay, somebody's not muted. Okay. Now, next question. How can I better collaborate with other clubs? We're going to start that with a poll. And I see that we've got 24 participants. How many people participate? And you'll have to scroll down because there are many, many, many options to pick from. We're at still 24%. Does everybody see the poll?
Do you see the poll,
No,
Manon?
don't see the, sorry, don't see the poll.
Okay, hold on. I'll
I don't
relaunch.
see the poll
I
either.
don't.
It's okay, just a second. I got it, just a second. It's because I started it already.
Okay. Do you see the poll now?
No, just a second.
Okay.
It's not letting me relaunch. I just have to relaunch it.
Okay.
How about now? Can you see it, Manon?
I see it, but we
I
should have
don't.
people who were not.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's not letting me relaunch it.
Oh, there's a relaunch poll. There we go.
There
I
we
can
go.
see it now.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So what activities outside of your club do you participate in or have participated in? So there's multitude of options here. District conference, international convention, read the district digest, it should be. There's another typo. Boy, I was really good on the keyboard today. Whew. Attend district seminars or webinars. Of course, you can answer yes to that or click that. Go to other clubs meetings. We're at 40%. We're at 52%. I think here we're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
It looks like many people, we're at 76%. If the last few people can chime in.
A longer one, we'll give it a few more seconds.
Yeah, there's so many things to look at.
It's pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll. Oh, there
Okay,
we go. There we
so
go.
how can you better collaborate with clubs was the question. Well, doing stuff outside of your club is the answer. And what are these things? There's a district conference once a year. The International Convention, my gosh, this year it's right in our own backyard. Darcy created a beautiful communication piece, which was distributed to all Rotary members this past week. Have a look at that. And it really, you can watch it like at 2.5 times the speed, so you can save time in your day and still get all the information.
So was that your comment? Are you the
No,
person
it
that
wasn't.
posted that they
I-
liked listening to that at 2.5 times where I sound like a squirrel?
No, I listened to it at 1.5 times. When
Okay.
it was done, it told me how much time I'd save. I saved 9 minutes.
Well, if you could only do that to me in real life.
So the important point about international convention is that December 15th, the price goes up by $100. So don't miss the opportunity to attend this, which is life-changing. And I think Darcy is gonna, well, Darcy talked about it in the video. It really changes a person from being a Rotary member to a Rotarian. Read the digest, find out what other clubs are doing. If it sounds interesting, then, use a Club Runner app on your phone and find a person in another club that's doing the event or the service project or whatever, give them a call. Okay. Attend district seminars, you've got this. Go to other clubs' meetings. I know for some people, like if you're in Kindersley, it's kind of difficult because everything else is so far away. But if you're in Red Deer or Lethbridge or Calgary, you have the opportunity to go to other club meetings and find out what they're doing. Go and meet people, say hi. So events, a lot of us stay in touch with Rotarians from other clubs that we've met in different activities, which is kind of cool. So there are 4 people who said they do something other. Can you put what your other is in the chat, please? That would be great to know what other activities you're doing that helps connect with other clubs so that you can collaborate. Okay, so we can close down that poll and move on to the next question. This one always comes up. Every year I hear this question from different Rotarians. Is it okay for Rotarians to promote their business with Rotary events or communications? Well, first of all, the history of Rotary is rooted in business. It is. And as a matter of fact, it was very strictly rooted in business to the point that if there was already a lawyer in the club and you were a lawyer, you couldn't join because they would only allow for one lawyer, one real estate agent, one CPA, one of every, what they used to call classification. But it was there for them to share about their business. So it's rooted in business networking. The unfortunate thing is that with technology, some people took this a little bit too far and started using Rotary mailing lists to mail out to the club members from their club or other clubs advertising their services. That is not allowed. So our Rotary Club mailing lists are for Rotary business. Of course, if you now have a client or a customer of yours that's a Rotarian, of course you're going to use their email address and you're going to correspond. But that's where it stops. It is not, do not use Rotary mailing lists for promoting your business. Okay, how does my club choose a theme for the year? What are the benefits of choosing a theme? There is no requirement for themes for clubs, none, zero. You don't have to choose a theme. As a matter of fact, the theme that we have been promoting year after year, which changes, this year is the magic of Rotary. Last year was Create Hope in the World. The year before was Imagine Rotary. And the year before that was Serve to Change Lives. I just had to look at my banner because that was my year as president of my club. That is coming to a stop. Next year, there's not going to be a Rotary presidential theme. There will be a Rotary presidential message. Rotary spends a lot of money, districts spend a lot of money on all the paraphernalia that goes along with these themes. So they're cutting back on that. Many of my DGE colleagues are not ordering pins. There won't be pins next year. I'm not getting pins. It'll be something different, and it'll be more tied to an activity that connects us all in the district. So there is no official theme. You can certainly jump on the bandwagon of what Rotary has created in terms of messaging and marketing and communication. People of action is one of those things. Use people of action. Service above self, you can use that. You can use parts of our mission. Together, we see a world where people unite, right, to create an impact, not only in our community and around the world, but also in ourselves. So you can use those messages that have already been created and use those for marketing your club. Some clubs have a little, I guess it's called a moniker. Like the Okotoks Club is known as the Friendly Club. So maybe you could look at the personality of your club and come up with a word, we're the fun club, or we're the exciting club, or we're the adventurous club, or we're the, you figure out what it is that represents your club, and you can make that your messaging. Okay, let's have a quick poll number 3, please, Rob. And this is along the themes. Rotary does have a monthly theme. And poll number 3 is going to ask you, what do you think the theme is for the month of December?
Yeah, I'm trying to launch it. Just give me a
Okay.
second.
Yep.
There,
And those of you who are
There we go.
fast, they
There we go.
Google it. Okay, so what is this month's theme? And the cool thing about the monthly theme is that you can now find a speaker that's aligned with that theme. Do a service project that might be aligned with that theme. And there's lots of stuff online that you can find images and sayings and quotes, and you can use that in marketing, whatever it is that you're doing, aligned with the theme. Okay, we have 21 out of 25 who responded. Can we share that? Oh, you've shared it already. Okay. It is disease prevention and treatment. Those of you who answered foundation, you were so close because that was the month of November. If you Google Rotary monthly themes, you'll find them all. And every year they're the same. So you can use that in your planning of your club's activities and speakers. Okay, thank you very much for that poll, Rob. And now I'd like to introduce Darcy Miketician from the Rotary Club of Red Deer East. I got that right, did I? I hope I did. Because there's 3 clubs in Red Deer.
Yeah, the folks at East might be embarrassed if you said that I was part of their club.
Oh, what?
I'm just Red Deer.
You're just Red Deer. Okay,
Yep.
my apologies for that.
That's okay.
So Darcy, tell us, how do you convert a non-believer into a Rotarian?
You don't. That's a little controversial, I think. But my sense of it is that you can't convert somebody to be a Rotarian, but what you can do is you can spend your time finding people aligned with our values and who we are. And the more, my experience has been in recruiting people that the more you try to convert them, you may get them for a short period of time. They come in the front door and then they leave the back door. And they do it to keep you happy or maintain a friendship or whatever the case may be. And so we're actually kind of dealing with this in our club right now. We've had some really good growth over the last couple of years where maybe we haven't been as strong making sure that we've aligned the folks we brought into our club with the values of Rotary. And we're being challenged by that a little bit. So my answer is you can't convert people. Spend your time looking for people, that you know and that members of your club know that are aligned with Rotary values. The four-way test is a terrific tool to use in terms of assessing whether or not people are ready to be in Rotary, and then invite them and give them the opportunity to make a decision to join. And you know, sometimes they're not ready for that decision. Sometimes the timing doesn't work, but I don't encourage people to convert.
Super. Thank you for that. Sometimes we're just so happy that someone comes to our club and wants to join, but we don't do a reality check to see if this is the right place for them. So good point. Okay, we're going to move on to Craig. Craig, can you answer the following question? How can I impose, ooh, that word really irritated me. How can I impose a coherent strategy for club projects?
Well, thanks, Manon. Yes, I caught your comment earlier on the word impose, so I'm just going to let that one go. I'm going to interpret this question as really my invitation to an invitation to me to talk about some of the resources that are available primarily on the RI website. I've got one up right now. I'm just going to send it in the chat here, and I can even share my screen. But it's a whole resource page about developing effective projects. It's got wonderful, wonderful information on it. Could also direct people to the Learning Center, where there are courses on strategic planning. All this by way of saying really that there are lots and lots of resources available, even thinking as well about people who've also done projects that you can call on to help you as you structure yours. But I think that just the message was really, the question was really about how we achieve a bit of standardization. So the very obvious questions are going to be, what is the project supposed to be about? And to that end, you can actually conduct a small mini project called a community assessment that helps you suss out, what the objectives should be, how big the project should be. RI certainly has all kinds of resources to help you with that initial step in the community assessment, as well as the templates that you can use to go forward building projects. So it's really, I think, in my mind, about repeatability, if you will, using best practices, leveraging the experiences of people that have come before on this journey, who are always around to help you out. I think as a kind of a final comment, there's more than one way to organize a project, but ultimately, the same kinds of things that tend to appear in all projects: a well-defined objective statement, good handle on scope, budget, things of that nature. So as long as you're thinking in those terms, it should be quite easy to pull a project together.
Super. Thanks, Craig. I always like to think about project management as answering the who, what, when, where, why, how, and having a budget and a funding model. So you're going to spend money, but where are you going to get the money from? And if you can wrap that up in a document, create a template for your club that you would expect everyone to follow, so you have all the questions answered. And that's, it connects to your budget, it connects to your risk management, it connects to your risk management, and it connects to your risk management. Because when we do these projects, we're taking a big risk and we're putting our club funds at risk, and we want to make sure we've got good governance. Good. Thank you very much, Craig. And now I'd like to introduce Sue Carpenter-Parnell, who's going to take us through quite a number of questions, and these are now all driving to engagement and attraction. Sue, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Manon. So my first question was, what can I do to make meetings more fun? So there are various things. I mean, for us, I have to say, one of the main things that makes our meetings fun, and it's a great thing to end on, is a sergeant. If you've got a really good sergeant, and we have 3 or 4 in our club, and if you've got anyone who will step up and do that, then that's really worthwhile. Of course, we have other things like Happy Bucks, and we celebrate birthdays and one thing and another. But sometimes you just need a little few minutes segment, maybe in the middle of a meeting or the beginning of the meeting, to get people in the mood and engaged. And so one thing you can do is suggest that when people come into a meeting, that perhaps they will sit with somebody different and engage in conversation that they wouldn't normally, you know, forget about the committee issues and that sort of thing for the moment. And so there are a few topics you might like to consider here. What was your favorite children's program when you were little? If you could have a superpower, what would you like it to be? Tell us about a memorable holiday, and the list goes on. You could also have something like where somebody stands up and says, right, there's something about me you don't know, and I'm going to tell you what it is. And it might be something quite unusual that members didn't know about before. It could be one of Martin's favorite games where you say three things about yourself, and one of them is a lie, and you have to guess which one it is. And that goes down well. It all depends on how much time you want to spend on it. And also you have to think about the number of members you have. So for instance, if you've got a small club and you want to do something like, we're going to have joke of the week and each member is going to tell a joke, well, your turn is going to come around pretty quickly. But if you have, say, over 100 members, then you might be waiting a long time. So for the bigger clubs, one other thing you might like to look at is, and I was looking at this earlier today, and there are a whole list of things you can celebrate, and there's something for every single day of the year. So did you know that tomorrow is National Blue Jeans Day? So you could have got your members to come in tomorrow wearing their blue jeans. On February the 2nd, it's Play Your Ukulele Day, if you have a member who can play the ukulele. So do Google celebrations and see if there's something that fits in either with your club meeting or maybe with the week that you have your meeting. There might be something there. So you have to be prepared to change it up as well. We used to have a very peculiar hat with bells on it that we would make people wear when it was their birthday, and that became a bit tired after a while, so we got rid of that. We might bring it back one day, who knows. So I would say look at the number of people you've got. What are they up to doing? Don't put them on the spot, like ask them to stand up and tell a joke, because that would be my worst nightmare. So it's just a matter of talking to people. What do they find fun? Getting them engaged at the beginning of the meeting, finishing off with something fun, and talk to other clubs, because it's amazing, you know, the ideas that other people have out there. So I'm sure lots of you as well do things at your clubs that are good fun, and if you want to share them, just put them on the chat. And then, so the second part I'm going to move on to is member engagement. And I've actually lumped two questions together here. And so I'm going to be talking about getting people engaged and then keeping them engaged. So one thing we do at our club is a Blue Dot program. And actually, we originally got this from the Canmore Club, who have a Red Dot program, and we've adapted it to our members. And so what we do is, when somebody is inducted into our club, we put them onto this program, and they have certain criteria that they have to fulfill. And amongst those things are, you have to sit with somebody who's doing attendance and learn to take attendance. You have to take your turn being greeter. And you might like to do that first of all with somebody else who's doing it, and then take it on your own. We also ask them to sign up to my Rotary and the weekly newsletter, so that they're engaged and they know exactly what's going on in the club. We might appoint them to a mentor if we feel that's appropriate. I know some clubs do that, so then they feel engaged. Make sure that they feel made to feel welcome at the club, and as quickly as possible, get them engaged in a committee so they feel they're actually doing something. When I look at application letters, because I'm the chair of membership, one of the main things is people want to be engaged. They want to get involved in projects and they want to do some hands-on. So just ensure they're doing that. So once you've got people engaged, the next thing is to keep them engaged. And this is often the most difficult part, because when they come in, they're all very keen and they want to make their mark. But how do you keep members at the club and feeling that they're engaged? Well, first of all, ask them. Do a review. Ask people, do they feel engaged? Are they getting out of the club what they really want? And so I've asked the directors of each committee round about February time, just chat to the members of your committee. You know, is this what you really want to be doing here? And do you think this is the right committee for you? If you feel like you want to change, feel free. Have you got an idea that our committee might want to pursue that we haven't been doing so far? And it's that sort of thing. If you talk to people all the time, find little projects that they might be engaged in. Are we actually using their skills? You know, I look at some of the skills on those application letters and I wonder sometimes, are we actually making the most of those? So there are lots of little things. And as I say, the main thing I would suggest is talk to people. And I have to say, Craig, you're a man after my own heart, because there's one thing I'm a great believer in, it's that learning centre. You can go on there and you can find a course on just about anything. And I can assure you, there are courses on member engagement, about engaging new members, retaining members, and all that sort of thing. So please do have a look at it, because it's a very valuable resource. I think that's about it. I just checked my notes here. I can't think of anything offhand that I wanted to say on that at the moment. Thanks, Manon.
Okay, thank you very much, Sue. There was another question about fundraising ideas. What I would like for people to do now as part of engagement is put in your fundraising ideas in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, Manon.
It's okay.
I can speak to that as well, if you like.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because, well, I held a Zoom meeting with club membership chairs, and what we focused on was what is working at your club as far as fundraising ideas. You know, the positive things, the things that have worked. And I actually drew up a list, and so I have it here somewhere. But if anyone would like a copy of that, I will put my email in the chat box. And if you would like to see it, I'd be more than happy to send it, because it's as you can imagine, it's very varied. You know, it goes from, you know, rubber duck races to lobster fests to you know, engaging in other clubs' activities and social events. So the list goes on. And as I say, I'll be very happy to share that.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, here's an interesting question for those of you in leadership positions. And actually, I think, you know what? I think this is a good question for everybody. How do I attract members to positions of leadership on the board when they do not want to be in management, but only want to serve on committees? I would like to ask our past district governors to chime in on this, because they have had to not only get people to step up in leadership roles at their club, but also at the district level. And what is the secret sauce for this? Kurt, I see you just turned your camera on. I suspect you want to jump in and speak to that. That would be great, please.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure that I would call being a leader managing. I'd hesitate to use that phrase within Rotary to start with. But certainly it can be a challenge. And like many things, it's when you talk to people, it's what's in it for them. What's going to be the benefit for them to take on a leadership role? And that's important. It's also coming back a one-to-one conversation, not just, hey, I need somebody to take on a role, but a one-on-one conversation and chat about, you know, what this role is about, what's in it for them, what's the benefit? You know, are they going to learn something new? Is it going to help them fulfill? Is it going to teach them or get them practice in new skills? Those are all, you know, what's in it for you when you talk to them. That's my one suggestion.
Super, thank you. Martin, I see you unmuted. Did you want to chime in as well?
Yeah, it's along the same lines as Kurt. it's the coffee meeting. It's going and having a chat and really getting to know the individuals, finding out, as Kurt said, what their interests are, but also share with them what's available in Rotary. I don't think we do the best job in letting them know what's available, what's there, what opportunities are both at the club level and the district level. So I think that information we can do a better job of sharing.
Awesome. Thank you. Darcy, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't think I have an answer for you, but I'm going to give you a heads up on something that we're going to try for the next year in our club. We're going through a succession review because we've struggled in the last 6 months to get people to step forward. So one of the things that's kind of come out of our research and conversation is that we have had our board turn more into a management group than a leadership group. So we're going to actually restructure our board. We're going to try things like the board meeting every 2 months instead of the board meeting once a month. We're going to try having each member of the board meet with their team of committees more often than the board meets. And we're trying to foster an environment where the people sitting on the board have a team of people to help them get their tasks done. They meet with them more regularly and come to the board meetings to really deal with the governing of the club. And get less involved in the day-to-day management of the club. So that's kind of a big shift for us. I'm hopeful that it works, but I'm also hopeful that it works because our club board has a reputation now that nobody wants to be on it because it's so much work. So we're trying to adopt that approach of more hands make for less work, and we're actually trying to re-engage our committees differently. But we think by doing that, what we can do is we can demonstrate to members that club leadership can help them with leadership in their careers and things along that line. Because what we've seen is we've seen the demographics of our club change from being predominantly business owners to folks that are working for other people, and they're not getting those leadership opportunities in their careers. So we're trying to position Rotary as a leadership training ground for them. So a few things we're going to try.
Awesome. Yeah, I had the same experience in another organization with the board being so administrative. Nobody wanted to join the board. And now we do exactly that, a board meeting every 2 months. And we move to more of a governance model and push all the work into committees. And that's what these people said they wanted to be, in committees. So, but yeah, Rotary is a beautiful place for honing your leadership and personal development skills, big time. Yeah. Okay. Another question was, where is the club health? Oh, yeah. Was
Sorry,
there something
could
else?
I just say something else to that, Manon?
Yes,
I
go right
think
ahead.
it's really useful if you can get your directors to identify people who might like to take on a leadership role. They might not feel like they want to speak up, and some people might find it a bit daunting. So if you can get them involved in little projects within their committees, or for instance, just start them off small and take over certain parts of that director role as it's getting to the end of the term, then they might feel better about stepping up or finding something that they're really passionate about. And as I mentioned before, if that committee doesn't suit you, then maybe think about doing something else.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Brian, you have your hand up. Or is it Christine?
Actually, it's Christine.
Christine, another past district governor. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm sitting with Brian tonight, so I didn't register, but I just sat with him as a couple to watch this tonight. And I must say, I'm so impressed so far with the quality and the information you're sharing. One of the things I found was to find out their passion of this person. What are they most passionate about? And help them learn the skills they need to have the confidence to lead. The Learning Center is a tool. It is a tool, but coaching is essential. So I would say any coaching, any mentoring you can give to someone who isn't confident to lead is essential. So that's just my take on that. So I'm just saying hi to everybody, and thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Christine. That is so important to have the mentoring and the coaching and someone there to answer questions. You know, Rotary, I heard DG Christina say about Rotary the other day. Rotary is a place where you can stumble and fall and fail, and people will be there to help you up, because it's not the big business world. So we're all here to help each other. And it could be daunting, brand new in a leadership role. I know I certainly felt that way many times in my Rotary career, but there were people there to help. So lean on them, and if you can provide the assistance, please do so. Doug, you have one quick comment, please, if you can keep it succinct.
My comment is that the responsibility of a good leader, I think, is not only to provide leadership for their term, but it's to help bring someone else along to take over from them so that there's not only sustainability, but hopefully continued improvement. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So it's yes, I'm not going to say anything further. I'm going to move into the next poll. Poll number 4, please, Rob. Okay, so here, has your club conducted a club health survey in the last 3 years? This allows you to find out where your people are at. And there is a thing called the Membership Action Plan. And if you'd like to learn more about this, and it has all kinds of ideas about engaging members and attracting members, this particular tool is brand new to us in Rotary recent memory anyway. And I'd like to know if you'd like to be interested in learning about that. So there's your 2 questions, and we're nearly there. Okay, so 9 out of the 21 people who answered have had a club health survey done recently, but 12 have not. In the membership action plan, it does say to conduct a club survey to find out what's happening in your club, get a good picture of that. So 12 of you might want to bring that back to your club and say, you know what, maybe we should do this to find out where we're at. It's kind of like going for your annual checkup. You know, is everything okay? And you go for your blood work and you have all these tests done to make sure that everything is on track. We need to do that with our clubs to make sure that our members are engaged, they feel engaged. We've provided them with opportunities to be engaged. And then you won't have that big fat slow leak that people kind of leave and you kind of wonder, why did they go? And you don't know. Okay, great. We can stop sharing the poll. And now I'd like to introduce you to Gary Williamson, who is from the Rotary Club of Calgary Centennial. And oh, Sue, you did have something else to say?
Yes, just very quickly, Manon. I was going to say the club health check.
Yes.
If anyone wants to find it, if they go to my Rotary under the knowledge and resources section, and then on the left-hand side, you've got membership materials. And if you scroll down to assess and adapt, it's the second point on there, and you can click on and download it. But again, I've put my email in the chat box. If you want the instructions to get to it, just email me, and I can either send you the PDF or I can give you the instructions.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you so much, Sue, for adding that. And yes, please get in touch with Sue. This is the beautiful thing about Rotary is we're here to help each other through all of this. So we have amazing people in district committees that are here to support the clubs. And that's exactly what they do. Okay, Gary, are you ready? Gary is going to tackle another 3 questions that came in. Gary's from the Rotary Club of Calgary Centennial. Gary, you have the floor.
Thank you. This question really made me look at myself as well as the Rotarians around me. When I was in Rotary International Melbourne in a breakout room, the moderator made what I consider to be a profound statement. When you join Rotary, you become a member. When you become engaged, you become a Rotarian. So I think with the people who are there, or the members who are there as members, not as practicing Rotarians, the practicing Rotarians have to become intentional to find ways to get the passive members to engage, to become Rotarians again. I think that sometimes we lull ourselves into a complacency. We just show up rather than actually being there. So I think that it falls upon us as individuals to become more intentional in creating that energy for the people who are being more passive. Like, we can't wait for them to do it because they're passive. We have to be proactive, I think. And I think question 15 speaks to it as
Gary,
well.
sorry, Gary, sorry, only we can see the questions. Can you read the question as well for everyone else?
Oh, sorry, how to deal with people who are in Rotary for name only. I thought Manor actually read it, but okay. How to deal with people who are in Rotary for name only. Now, there are two ways to interpret it. They could be in it because of their classification, trying to just get business. But I read it as being people who are Rotarians, and they maybe were very active in days ago and have become just members. They're not on committees anymore. They're more passive, they're less engaged. So that's what I'm speaking to, is that the Rotarians need to be intentional to get them engaged. In other words, to create that level of interest, to attract them to committees rather than trying to guilt them into getting on committees.
Mm.
Membership involved is the same thing, really, because if you get them involved, they become Rotarians again. So be the change you want your club to be. So this really made me revisit. You know, I joined Rotary in 2019, after 15 years after I got my Integrity Award in 2004. Took me that long to get in, and then COVID. And then we came out of COVID, and again, I think we just have to we have to choose to become more engaged. We have to choose to become that fellowship component. Anybody can get on a computer and just click donate $100. It's easy for people to donate to charity that way, but fellowship makes that even more worthwhile. So I think that as practice owners, we have to create projects around their passion rather than imposing projects because we've always done these projects. We have to find out what their interests are and become a true friend to them. Ask about their classification, give support wherever you can. I think we have to be intentional. That's the message that I have on that. This one was kind of fun. How do I deal with crusty board members? Zig Ziglar said you can have everything in life that you want if you're willing to help enough people get what they want. So we just have to find their want, and they will become less crusty. I mean, if they're just crusty, if that's their nature, to speak to what Darcy said earlier on, you can't change people for whatever they are. You just have to attract the people that share your values. But if they're on the board and they're crusty, they probably just need a friend. That's how I look at that. There you go.
Sure. Thank you very much, Gary. That's great. The next question we had was, what is the most effective way to communicate? Well, as a person in my club who does a lot of communicating, because that is my role at my club level, the answer is constantly changing. How's that? We just recently, I guess after COVID, as a matter of fact, we started publishing our newsletter again. And I had people saying, I'm not going to read the newsletter. But when we go to club meetings, there's so much to communicate that the newsletter became the vehicle for doing all of that. And now we're getting more people who are reading the newsletter. Of course, we can see that in the statistics. But again, I'm going to use the same who, what, when, where, why, and how methodology for figuring out how to communicate. Always keep your audience in mind. Who are you communicating to? What are you communicating? When do you need to communicate it? Where are you going to do that communication? And why are you communicating? There's no need to send an email to the entire club if you just need to direct it to your board. And there's no need to communicate if you're going to see your club members on the next day and it can wait. So for every piece of communication, you need to really identify your audience, be very clear about what you need to say. Do not write super long emails with big fat paragraphs, because if there's anything that turns people off, that's it. They will not read it. You can certainly go to ChatGPT, and if you don't feel like you're a good writer, you can tell ChatGPT, can you write this in a more succinct manner? Can you write this to be more energized? Can you write this to be more succinct? And you type in all your words and it'll come back. Of course, you can edit after that, but gosh, that tool has saved me so much time, because now I don't have to sit there and try and figure out how am I supposed to say this, because I'll go to ChatGPT and do it. If you want a link to ChatGPT, I'll put my email address in the chat, and you can send me an email and I'll help you out with that. So the bottom line to this as well is talk to your members. It seems to be a repeated theme throughout the evening, is you need to get to know your members. What do they want to see or hear? A recent thing we've done in our club is gone to paper for some of our committee reports. It's really expensive, but you know what? The impact is huge. When people get that piece in the mail of a committee's report in beautiful color, it's impactful. They read it. And so if that's what you want, people to read your stuff, you have to make it attractive, you have to make it easily legible, and just get to the point, because time is of the essence. Okay, Craig, you've got the next question. Go ahead, please.
Here I was all set, and then I saw the little mute button on there. So the question just says, Rotaract 18 plus to what? And the best transition to Rotary member. So just in case anybody does not know, so Rotaract was started a number of years ago as a program to interest younger people, younger working professionals, and the age range is about 18 to 30 in Rotary. And then a few years ago, Rotaract became elevated, if you want to say it that way, so that Rotaract clubs are now Rotary, fully recognized clubs targeted at the young working professionals 18 plus to 30. In preparing to answer this question, I was actually reading an article, and one of the things that it was saying was that the number one reason that people do leave an organization like Rotary is life happens, so circumstances change. And therein lies a bit of a problem, in the sense that our Rotaract community are precisely those to whom life is happening. They're starting careers, they're starting families. So the transition, I think, from Rotaract to Rotary is actually a difficult one. By way of comparison, our club, the Downtown Club, is actively involved in supporting an Interact club at Western Canada High School. And Interact are the students that are in high school, and our current Interact club stands at around 260, 280 members, very, very actively engaged club in that school, probably the busiest club they have ever had there. And our club is able to contribute to the success of that Interact club. And then things seem to go a little bit dark as we move out of Interact and into Rotaract, and ultimately on into Rotary. So that is a challenge to work. I would just answer it by saying, I think that really the answer to the question finds its echoes in a number of the questions that were discussed earlier here. My short answer is one mind at a time, but I think I'll actually condition that on Darcy's comments, not so much converting one mind at a time, but finding one mind at a time. And I think the answer is just to continue to stay in touch with these students, make sure that they're continuing to be aware of Rotary, being present with them as they move through those changes. And hopefully as things settle down for them, they will find time for Rotary in their lives. But I think that is a challenge and something that does need to be worked.
Thank you very much, Craig. I see Anita, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Actually, sorry, my camera and my hair. Wow, sorry. No, I just wanted to build off of Craig's comments. So I joined Rotary when I was 27, and I'm coming up to 38 now. I had my child while I was in Rotary. I got married while I was in Rotary. And I just wanted to make that comment that my club was so amazing that I never felt out of place bringing my baby to a meeting. Actually, I was club services chair at the time, so people would hold Erica while I was running around getting stuff done. So I would just say to a lot of these clubs, because I have heard different experiences for some other people, that you need to make it welcoming for people who want to bring their family. You need to make it. I also just ended up taking a year off to go back to school. And my club was fantastic. They, kept me in the loop. They were very understanding. And as soon as I came back, they were ready for me to get back involved. So I just think looking at the club culture and dynamic around what it means for someone just to be in a different stage of life. So thank you for the chance to share those comments.
Thanks, Anita. Thank you.
And it's been lovely to see your Rotary journey, Anita, because I remember when you were sitting in our Rotary Leadership Institute training many years ago. So glad that you are still a Rotarian. Awesome. Sue, you have a comment. Go ahead.
Yes, I do, because I just want to say exactly, Anita has been on quite a journey with us, and I'm very happy to say that she is our president-elect for next year.
Awesome. Yay. Wonderful. Okay, moving on to the next question. We only have two more, but we'll start this one with a poll. Rob, can you please put up poll number 5? Does your club have a vulnerable sector officer?
Oh, we don't call them that. Okay.
If you call it youth protection, that's cool. If you don't know, that's cool. If you do, awesome. I even put the option of a club not having to deal with a vulnerable sector at all, because that could be possible. And it's not a right or wrong thing, by the way. Okay, I think we're there.
Should be sharing, Minnow.
Okay, oh, it is there. So most of you do. 1 does not, 3 do not know, and 1, their club doesn't deal with a vulnerable sector. So that's interesting. The I need to find out from the 17 people who say they have a vulnerable sector officer. We need one at the district right now. So if anybody would love the opportunity to step up into that position, there is so much to gain from being in there. You do so much personal growth in working through that role. Please let us know. Let your president know, or send me an email if you have somebody in that area. I mean, how do you attract someone in that position? I think it relates to what we were talking about before, a person with a passion for that, because they can learn the protocols around dealing with this stuff. If they have a passion for it, they will take that on with care and consideration that it needs. Some roles at the club and the district level are pretty straightforward. Others require a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Care and consideration. And that might be a little challenging for people. But let me tell you, the times that I've had to step up in challenging roles were the times of greatest personal growth. And that was a huge benefit for me in my life. Okay, next, Craig, last question.
I think it's the $1 million question as well.
It
How can we
is.
attract new members? So I'm going to start by referencing again that article I was reading as I was thinking about this, and it actually asks the question, and I don't want to use the word lay the blame, but the question is, why is membership growth anemic? And I think the answer rests really with all of us. You know, are we happy to be in a club of the size that we're at, or could we as individuals each do more? It's been a very, very long time since I've invited a friend of mine to a Rotary meeting, but that's primarily because most of my friends are already Rotarians. But I've taken on the role of membership chair this year, and one of the things I've committed to do is anybody who comes to our door, I have coffee with them right out of the gate. Having a lot of coffee this year. But it's really back to what I was saying earlier about one mind at a time, to try and build those connections, trying to establish a bit of a rapport back to the club as they feel us out, to see whether or not that fit is there. And to that end, I've undertaken to meet as many people as I can this year and get out talking to them. Another thing I want to mention, sort of on the technology front, for those clubs who have Club Runner, there is within a membership success module. We've had it for years, didn't know a thing about it. We're starting to look at using it now as a mechanism for keeping track of our membership leads. We've set an ambitious growth target, and this tool, I think, will be helpful. The thing I like about it is it very, very naturally lends itself to inviting members to go out and bring their friends to a meeting, bring their friends to an event. The particular tool is actually built that way. And just into the new year, we're going to be launching an initiative within our club to encourage our members to bring more and more people through the door. So if complacency, I don't like the word, is what's holding us back, I want to try and bust that down. So that's really one of our goals for this year. And I think it's beginning to attract a lot of attention in our club.
Awesome, super. I want to be mindful of time. Can we launch the last poll, please, Rob? Okay, so 3 questions here. Question number 1, did you learn at least one new thing this evening? Question number 2, was this a valuable use of your time? And third question, which of the following topics would you like to explore more in a webinar, just like we did this evening? That'll help Rob to schedule learning events that are things that you want to see. And thank you so much for all your input in these polls. I really feel that they're valuable, because just to look at the little square with your name on it, really, you know, from a facilitator's perspective, it's like, is there anybody out there? So you've provided us with some very interesting stuff, and I love what's happening in the chat as well. Yes, pets for 2026. No, we do not have a date for that. We do have a date for, it is 2025. Sorry. Oh, I need to go to the optometrist and get my eyes checked. Yes, the date for pets, actually, it's now called PELS, President-elect Training, but I think I'm even going to change that to CELS, CLLS, Club Leadership Learning Seminar. Because it's great to have the presidents around the table. I think we can perhaps invite more of the club leadership people around the table as well. And it's learning, not training anymore. So if you go to Rotary's website, there's a learning center, not a training center. We conduct learning events because you train pets, but people learn. And it shifts the emphasis on the learner as opposed to the fire hose approach we used to do of just downloading information to our leaders. Okay, so there we go. Everybody learned something. Awesome. And if we can capture that poll, that'll help us figure out. So membership action plan, yes, we'll do something on that. A few people want project planning and management. Oh, good. Club communications, great. Attracting new members, that will be part of the membership action plan, because in that membership action plan, there's all kinds of ways to attract new members, and it's all defined for you. And the same thing with retention. Attraction and retention will be covered in that. So we'll be sure to plan a membership action plan. Are there any pressing questions right now?
I have
Go
a
ahead.
couple. I have a couple of things, Manon, just to finish off with. So to answer the Glory's question, we have planned it. It's going to be Saturday, March the 8th.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So we're still working on agenda, et cetera, but we have picked the date. It's going to be Saturday, March the 8th. It is going to be in person only once again. I know we transitioned to in person only last year as well. We really want to encourage and foster, you know, the fellowship and the networking that happens when we're all together in one room. There's going to be breakout sessions. It's going to be at the same location as last year, which is downtown. But we'll send out all the details as we get closer into the year. But it's going to be Saturday, March the 8th. And secondly, I just wanted to mention, you know, we're trying to get more of these learning webinars in place. And again, thanks everyone. I love the 21 out of 21 for people that found this valuable, found a good use of their time. This Saturday morning, we have an amazing one coming up. I want everyone that's here to talk to their international service committees in their club to make sure they're registered. We have an amazing webinar. It's this Saturday, December the 7th, 9 a.m. to about 10 a.m. It's called Building Towards Empowering Families, Growing Futures, Improving Maternal Health and Infant Care in East Africa. It's actually one of the 3 programs of scale that have been nominated that are going to be presented at the International Convention. Actually, Doug's here. I see him here. And it's going to be with Doug, and it's going to be with the past district governor of Uganda. He's going to be joining us to go over this program of scale. It's going to be a $5 million plus project. Clubs from all around the world, spearheaded from Doug in our district with Uganda. So it's going to be an amazing discussion. So please tell all of your international committees to go and register. Just like with this one, just go into the area calendar, go to the date, and you can register there. So I just wanted to plug that because that's coming up on Saturday morning.
And Rob, just to clarify about the PELS session or CELS, we might actually need the Sunday as well because there's so much to cover. And I want it to be an interactive session as opposed to just sit there and drink from the fire hose. So
Yeah.
that takes more time. So we'll talk. We'll get that set up, and like Rob said, we'll let you know as soon as we've got this agenda going for the CELS, what's going to happen, whether it's going to be 2 days or 1. Okay, is there anything else for the good of Rotary? I want to thank Sue and Darcy and Craig and Gary and Rob for making this possible this evening. And thanks to all of you for attending. It was a pleasure to bring all this Rotary information to you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
And I want to say just, again, I'm running the Zoom and polls and stuff, but really for those who attended, not only this session, but the first session, you can tell how much work DG Manon, on top of learning how to get, you know, she went from DGN to DGE, like, and then doing all this as well to get ready for the session, because we had all these questions from last year's and we wanted to figure out how to roll out to the district. And really, yeah, I'm running the thing, but she's doing all this. So Manon, kudos, amazing work. Congratulations. It was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. But it only happens when we do it together, as we saw
Absolutely.
tonight. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate the team. That's great. Yay. Yay,
Thanks,
team.
everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ann. Bye-bye.
We'll see you Saturday morning.